Well, with me now is the Liberal Democrat leader, Tim Farron. Let me start by asking you about the expenses scandal. The CPS have told us that 30 Tories are being considered for charges. Do you think, as Nigel Farage says, that might have been a factor in the timing of this snap election?
Well, it's entirely possible that Theresa May looked at the CPS inquiry and the work that you've done on Channel 4 News to draw attention to this and thought, well, what the heck, let's go now. I have to say, we don't know. My initial assumption was that Theresa May looked across the dispatch box, saw in Jeremy Corbyn not just somebody who's not a plausible alternative Prime Minister, but not even a leader of the opposition, and thought it was the political equivalent of taking candy from a baby. And she's called this election for political, partisan reasons, not for the country, in the same way that David Cameron called the referendum for partisan reasons, not for the country. It doesn't mean we're not up for it. We're very excited about the election. It's a great chance for the British people to choose a different direction.
OK, so let me be clear about what the campaign means if you vote for the Lib Dems. Is it a vote for a second EU referendum?
It's certainly a vote that at the end of the 2-year period that we're about to begin, that the deal that will be stitched up by government and bureaucrats in Brussels and Whitehall should not be imposed on the British people. They should have the final say. Whether you
so that is a second EU referendum?
A first referendum on the deal, because we're going to get a deal imposed upon us nobody voted for, and that's a shocking affront to democracy.
But the problem,
sorry, go on.
Well, the problem for you is that support for going ahead with Brexit is now higher than it was at the first referendum.
So I don't think there's any support for Theresa May imposing any old Brexit on the British people. And here's the thing, we've seen the electoral indications in the last, 9 or 10 months. The Liberal Democrats made these stunning 34 gains in local government by-elections since June, majority of them in Leave areas. And that's because this is not about 48 versus 52. This is about the 100% saying to Theresa May, I hope, hang about, don't impose a stitch-up on us, a Brussels Whitehall bureaucrat stitch-up, without us having the final say. What Theresa May is asking for is a blank cheque to deliver any old Brexit, no matter what impact it has on us. We say the people must decide at the end of all this.
OK, so put your money where your mouth is. How many seats do you think you can win with this kind of campaign?
I mean, I'm not going to make any guess whatsoever, because it would be a guess at this point. But, at a time where almost anything can happen politically, why couldn't the best thing happen? It seems to me that what we're facing now, yes, is dropping off a cliff edge of a hard Brexit that people did not vote for by and large, but it also means we've got no decent opposition. And what the Liberal Democrats offer is that real, decent, credible opposition on the biggest issue of the day that means Theresa May does not get a blank cheque to do whatever she likes.
What they also offer is potential coalition with the Conservatives. You wouldn't rule that out again?
Well, my sense is that we're looking at the moment at a coronation unless there's a decent, strong opposition. We know in Jeremy Corbyn, not only is he not an alternative Prime Minister, he's not even an effective leader of the opposition. The Liberal Democrats stand there to be the decent, strong opposition, to mean this is not a coronation, and the British people have their say.
Metropolitan Remainers might like what they hear from you on Brexit. But what about social issues? I mean, take for an example, a while back I asked you whether it was true that you believed homosexuality was a sin, and you struggled to answer. Now you've had a while to consider that question. What is the answer?
I don't think I struggled to answer at all, Cathy. I talked about the fact that I'm not in a position to go making theological pronouncements, and I can promise you one thing.
You said we're all sinners.
Over the next 6 weeks, I'm not going to spend my time talking theology or making pronouncements.
Well, but this is an important issue, though, for your voters. I mean, I asked you 3 times, did you think homosexuality was a sin? And you said we're all sinners. Is that still the answer?
So my sense is, as a Liberal, I'm passionate about equality, about equal marriage, about equal rights for LGBT people, for fighting not just for LGBT rights in this country, but overseas. But, just because I'm a Christian, it would be a bit boring for everybody who spend the next 6 weeks asking me to make theological pronouncements. I am not planning to do so.
Tim Farron, thank you very much.